Have you ever wondered why in America a medium portion is enough to feed a family of four in Europe or Asia? It's a collective madness. We live in a country where the size of your plate is a direct measurement of your success. If you walk into a restaurant and you don't feel like you need to undo your belt after the first course, you probably chose the wrong place. It is a true cult. We are obsessed with words like mega, super, and king size. We've been conditioned to believe that if you aren't stuffed to the point of being a semi-conscious vegetable, you simply didn't enjoy your meal. But look at it logically. Our stomach is the size of a fist. We don't try to cram an entire sofa into our jacket pocket, so why do we think that downing a liter of soda is just washing down the food? This is marketing that has defeated biology. Companies know you don't actually want to eat that much, but they manipulate you by offering an upgrade to a giant portion for just a few extra cents. You think, oh, that's such a deal. And you take it not because you're hungry, but because you're afraid of missing out on value. Your brain sees the savings, but your body receives a massive hit of calories it doesn't know how to process. We have stopped listening to the signals of our own organism. We eat by the pluck, by the discounts, and by the size of the portions, but we never eat just because we are hungry. We've become hostages to this gigantism. You walk into a cafe, see this burger that looks like a tower from a horror movie, and your first thought isn't, is it tasty, but how on earth do I take a bite without breaking my jaw? It's not food, it's a challenge. It's a contest between a human and their own capacity for consumption. And honestly, we are losing that contest every single day. Now, let's look at why this is actually happening. Why do you walk into a store, look at the shelves, and see that a pack of broccoli costs as much as a small aircraft carrier, while a bucket of processed junk that will give you heartburn in 5 minutes costs less than a cup of coffee? This isn't a coincidence. It is a sophisticated economic trap where you are literally penalized in dollars for trying to be healthy. The entire system is built to make fast carbohydrates and trans fats the cheapest fuel for your body. Agribusiness giants get massive subsidies for growing corn and soy, the main ingredients for high fructose corn syrup and cheap livestock feed. That's why sugary sodas and industrial meat cost pennies. You want a normal, healthy salad? Prepare to pay a premium price for the premium choice. This is the true economics of gluttony. We live in a paradox. The people with the lowest income are the ones who most often struggle with weight and health issues. Not because they are lazy or don't understand it's bad for them, but because they are making the mathematically correct choice for their wallet. If you have $5 and you're working 2 jobs, you aren't going to buy organic spinach to cook for an hour. You're going to buy that mega set at a fast food joint, which gives you 2,000 calories in one sitting and keeps you on your feet until tomorrow. Corporations have made overeating the cheapest way to survive. They aren't selling food, they're selling caloric security. And we, by buying it, become part of their conveyor belt. You think you've won because you saved $1 by ordering the largest sides, but in reality, you're paying with your entire future health. It's a poverty tax that you pay with your own liver. And the scariest part is that we accept this as standard. Oh, that's just how the market works. No, that's how a business works, one that profits from keeping you fed, but completely unhealthy. It's a model where your hunger is their profit, and your fullness is just a side effect of you overpaying for empty carbs. And now, let's talk about how they broke our brains with the concept of unlimited. Have you ever walked into an all-you-can-eat restaurant or a buffet? It's a psychological experiment where you become a lab rat in a maze full of food. You pay a fixed fee, let's say $20, and in that moment, your brain switches into survival mode. You start thinking not about what you actually want to eat, but about how to break even on your money. You feel obligated to eat twice as much as you need, because otherwise you lost. We have turned lunch into a financial transaction. If you don't leave feeling like you can barely breathe, you think, well, that was a bad investment. It's total absurdity. We pay money just to feel uncomfortable, and marketers know this perfectly. They place the cheapest, most carbohydrate-heavy items, rice, pasta, bread, at the very beginning of the line. By the time you reach the expensive meat, you are already half full of that cheap filler. And then you see the desserts, and you think, well, I already paid for it. I have to try everything. It's a trap of greed. We become victims of our own desire to get the maximum value for our cash. And just look at large fast food chains with their unlimited refills. You buy 1 cup, and you can pour as much soda as you want. For the manufacturer, that water costs absolute zero. But for you, it's free, so you down 1.5 liters of sugar during your lunch. You think you've outsmarted the system, but the system has actually addicted you to a sugar hit equivalent to a weekly allowance. And it did it in a way that makes you thank them for the opportunity. In this country, we grew up believing that unlimited is freedom. But in reality, it's just a tool that makes us dependent on consumption. We are afraid of being shortchanged. We are afraid of missing out, so we stuff ourselves with more than our bodies can handle. We stopped being people who enjoy the taste and became machines competing with restaurant counters for the right to stay in the black. And now, look at this strange ritual that has become the norm. The doggy bags. We walk into a restaurant, order a dish that looks like it could feed 2 people, and when half of it remains on the plate, we ask the server to wrap it up to go. On the surface, it looks like simple thriftiness, a rational choice not to waste food. But if you dig deeper, it's proof that we have completely lost control over what and how much we eat. Restaurants know this game. They intentionally make portions giant because they know a massive portion is the main marketing tool that forces you to choose them over everyone else. You pay $20 for a plate that physically can't fit inside you, and in the end, you become a hostage to that food. Now, you didn't just have lunch. You are obligated to finish the rest tomorrow for breakfast or dinner. It turns your fridge into a storage unit for leftovers that you have to eat because you already paid for them. We've become so conditioned that a restaurant portion is, by default, 2 for 1. We have lost the sense of how much a person actually needs for a single meal. When you see this Himalayan volume of fries or pasta in front of you, your brain no longer recognizes a normal serving size. It only recognizes eat until I feel sick and pack the rest into a container. It has created a culture where food has lost its status as a pleasure and become a burden. We carry these plastic boxes around like trophies, but in reality, we are just the maintenance crew for our own stomachs. Restaurants win because they sell us the illusion of generosity, and we lose because we turn our lives into a never-ending process of finishing what was calculated for 2 people with very high metabolisms. We aren't eating to live. We're eating so it doesn't go to waste. And in this endless cycle, we have forgotten what it feels like to have a real, clean appetite, where you actually stop because you are finally full. And now we reach the final point where all this absurdity turns into a tragedy. We don't see the consequences of this eating culture in commercials, but in the statistics of disease and quality of life. We have created a business model that profits from you overeating, and then profits again from treating the consequences. It's a perfect closed loop. The fast food industry stuffs your stomach with empty calories, while pharmaceutical companies and hospital chains sell you medication for diabetes, hypertension, and heart problems. You think you saved money on lunch, but you end up spending thousands just to stay afloat. We have turned food into a weapon of mass destruction against our own bodies without even realizing we're the ones pulling the trigger. This isn't about personal weakness. It's about an environment where a healthy choice is a luxury, and the path to obesity is paved with a red carpet of marketing deals and value offers. We live in a world where more is automatically better, even if that more is slowly killing us. But the worst part is the apathy. We've grown accustomed to these portion sizes, we've gotten used to the unlimited refills, and we carry these containers like they're part of our wardrobe. We've lost our instinct for self-preservation, replacing it with the habit of consuming as much as we can fit until our eyes can no longer see food. This isn't about survival, it's about self-destruction disguised as comfort. Maybe it's time to stop believing that the size of the portion actually matters. It's time to realize that true freedom in America isn't the right to eat a bucket of something unhealthy, it's the right to say no, even when the system is screaming at you that it's a great deal. But until we admit that we're just hooked on a game where we are always the losers, nothing will change. We keep chewing, we keep paying for it with our health, and the funniest part is, we still think we are free in our choices, even though, in reality, we're just full, tired, and stuck with a mountain of plastic boxes that have nowhere to go in the fridge.